Welcome back to another Cipher Symmetry tutorial. In this tutorial we're just going to quickly cover installing devices for outputting to an engraver or laser of your choice. Now, in the instance that you want to output to a laser engraver, that's very simple. All you need to do is make sure that your laser driver is properly installed, and you can check this by just clicking on the Start button and going to Devices and Printers. And as we can see here, I've got a few Epilog laser drivers installed, so I know now that my laser driver is properly configured. So to output a job, simply go to File menu and select Output Job. And for lasers, you just want to click on the very first tab here, which is a printer icon. From there, the next step is simple. Just click on the Select button, select the driver you want to use, go to Preferences, which should bring up that laser driver's settings, and then just toggle everything as you see fit for output. Click on OK, click Print, and then click on OK to output. Now, in the event that you're actually rotary engraving a job, you've got three different options here. The first one is the serial port option, to output via serial port. The second one is to output via network port. And the third is to just export as a plot file for use via a job server or some other mechanism which sends the plot file to the engraver. Now, as you can see in each of these three fields here, I've got no devices in my list, so we're going to take care of that first. So we'll just hit cancel. To add a new device, click on the Help menu and select Add Remove SDFs. SDF meaning Symmetry Driver File. And as you can see, once again, there's another menu here which shows that I've got no drivers currently installed. So to install a new one, click on the Install New SDF. And from here, we have a carousel of different engravers. Clicking on the drop down, you can select a brand type. So currently we've got the Vision collection of drivers, the Roland engraver collection, and we've got a few other miscellaneous ones as well. So especially if you've got an older type machine, click on the Other tab and chances are they'll be there. Now, if you cannot find your machine at all, contact your sales representative and they'll send one out for you. Otherwise, it should be as simple as simply scrolling down, find the machine which looks just like yours and clicking on it. When you click on it, you've got a whole pile of settings up here which really you shouldn't need to change. It should be fine. The only thing I can recommend you might want to change is perhaps the machine name, especially in the case that you have more than one machine in your office. You might have nicknames for them, so it'd be a good idea to label it appropriately. And the last important thing to do is to select what control you have. Now, for a lot of these machines, in particular the Vision series, you'll either have a black box, which is the Vision Series 3 controller, or you'll have a black box with a blue panel, which will be a Cipher G3 controller. So it's very important that you select the right driver. And you can see up here just a few of the settings do change depending on what you've got installed. So select the right driver and controller that you have, and then click Add Driver. And you'll see the driver's been created. Now if I go back and repeat the process, you'll see that now I do have a driver currently installed. If I click on Install New, I can go through the same process again. If we go down to the smaller desktop units, like the V810s for instance, they're slightly different. If you click on one of these, again you'll have the same first step where you should name that something more appropriate. And then down here you've got this question, you've been asked, what does the panel look like? So as you can see from this little image here, the panel's got a bit of a greeny display. So if your machine looks exactly like that, then obviously this is the one you want. Alternatively, you might find that your panel doesn't have a green display or doesn't even have 3 pot controls and yes 2, so make sure you select the appropriate one for your engraver, because it does make a difference. The roll-on series are a little bit more simpler. Simply select the engraver you want, and then add the driver. There's no other further need to select a control panel interface. Okay, so now if we go back to the output job options, you can see that we now have our driver there, and we can now select the appropriate method for output and go from there. Now you're ready to go.